All right, let's get to Mike Ginsburg. Mike is joining us from Northern Virginia. Mike, you're the chairman of the 10th District. Give me your title now, exactly.
Sure. Now, I am a State Central Committee representative from the 11th District.
All right, State Central Committee representative from the 11th District in Virginia, right? That's Northern right. Virginia. All right, so Mike, I wanted to have you on today because everybody knows my positions on conventions, right? I think that the conventions have ripped the heart and soul out of the Republican Party in Virginia and turned it into the New York Jets dumpster fire it is. So I hate them, right? In fact, my New Year's resolution was to go 1 month without bashing conventions, and I couldn't get through 12 days. So I already screwed that up, all right? I hate conventions. They've destroyed the party. However, State Central makes the decision in state whether or not to have a convention or a primary. And a month ago, you had a vote, and the State Central, much to my chagrin, voted for a convention because a lot of people were afraid that Amanda Chase, running for governor, would be favored in a primary and win a multiple field, so they wanted to go to a convention to stop her. That's the theory. So you guys do a convention. Okay, fine. I'm pissed off about it, but life goes on. Now you're having another vote on Saturday, and you want to change it again because Amanda Chase is now in the convention, and now they're saying, well, maybe we're better off if we do a primary. I mean, if you're going to change the vote again, let me ask you something, Mike. Why not just turn the party over to Amanda Chase, give her the keys to the office, give her the postal permit code, give her the Mr. Coffee Maker and 5 beepers you've got in Richmond, and just make her the chairman and the nominee and be done with it? Why would you change your vote again? This is insane. Help me understand this.
Sure. No, I agree with you. I mean, I think that, we have a democratically taken decision, and to reverse it would validate, all the arguments that she and others have made since then about having reversing the decision and having a primary. I mean, I think it is important that we, stick to our guns and screw our courage to the sticking post, if you will, and, retain the decision that we made. I don't know that she necessarily is the driver of any of the decisions we made. I think it's important. I think the reasons why we made the decision to have a convention, and I say this as a primary person, I have always supported primaries. I firmly believe primaries are by and large the best way to nominate candidates. But I think when you have a large field, as we have potentially, almost certainly are going to have probably 5 to 6 candidates, you can have a candidate that wins with 30%, and that you have 70% of the party has not voted for its nominee. So that was, I think, weighed on my mind heavily. Now, since then, of course, as you say, I mean, if we reverse the decision under what appears to be duress, what appears to be the pressure of Amanda Chase, the pressure of, outside voices, I think we'll look fickle, we'll look unreliable, and I think we will erode the confidence, I think, that folks should have in us as a as the governing body of the Republican Party of Virginia.
To change it again is insane. Okay, the Republican Party of Virginia is already a comic book strip. Okay, to change this again, and again, this is coming from both of us, Mike, hate conventions. It should be primaries effect. I'm for the bill that Dan Hemmer introduced yesterday to ban them and just go to primaries. I'm for that. It's never going to pass. But I hate conventions. But you already made the decision. Campaigns have already hired people based on having a convention, spent money based on having a convention. How you change it now a month later, because now you're trying to manipulate the nominating process again. And a lot of people that were pro-primary voted for the convention to stop Amanda Chase. So the first decision that was made by some people, allegedly, right? And I'm not going to question their judgment. But you get in trouble when you try to manipulate nominating procedures in order to favor or disfavor a candidate. You get yourself in trouble. They did that, but now they got to live with it. And I think changing it back to a primary now is absolutely insanity for the Republican Party, what's remaining of it. I think it lends itself to believing that everything is a reaction to Amanda Chase, who is running for governor. I think she's competitive in a primary or a convention, but to keep changing it is asinine. I just don't know why anybody would do that. And we become such a laughingstock. This just makes it worse, Mike Ginsburg.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think, the Republican Party is working very hard to, I know certainly in the 11th district, the 10th district, the committees up here are working very hard to recruit candidates and prepare for the 2021 cycle. I mean, we definitely are. And I think Rich Anderson, as our chair, has really, been starting to build the Republican Party into what I hope will be a force again. And I think that, I look forward to that project, and I think it's off to a very good start. But I think that reversing this decision would be a setback in that effort. I really do think that we've made a decision. It deserves to be respected. As you say, a lot of people have relied on that decision to make their own campaign organizational decisions, and to throw that into chaos. Particularly, I mean, you think about it, in order to get on the primary ballot, you need to get, I think it's 10,000 signatures across the state, 400 in each congressional district. Well, that process ordinarily starts on January 1st. It's now January the 13th. The campaigns haven't been doing that, so they've lost almost 2 weeks of signature gathering, among other things. So a lot of people will be at a very big disadvantage. So I think that we ought to just move forward, prepare for the convention, and there are advantages to the convention that shouldn't be overlooked. We will be able to nominate our candidate earlier than the Democrats will, so we will have a nominee that will be campaigning for a month while the Democrats are still tearing at each other's throats, and we'll be able to unify the party earlier. So, there are some advantages, and these are the traditional advantages of the convention. And while I'm not ordinarily a convention supporter, those advantages shouldn't be overlooked.
Well, look, the advantages or disadvantages. You made your bed, now you sleep in it. I mean, you already made the decision. I didn't agree with. I was shocked when it was made, but you made it, and now you can't be ping-ponging, going back and forth like a ping pong ball. The other thing that bothers me is here's the way it's going to look. Glenn Youngkin gets in, rich so-called Republican, $250 million he made in Carlyle Group. I call him China Man. You go on the Carlyle Group's website. They brag about the deals they made in China and how they shipped our jobs overseas and gutted our manufacturing. So people in Goldman Sachs could make more bonuses at the end of the year or whatever they did. I don't question how they made their money, okay? But Glenn Youngkin is not going to win a convention. So nobody heard of him and nobody cares. So here's what it looks like, okay? Glenn Youngkin gets in. He's got money. And now we're going to change the nominating process to favor that candidate. And now they're afraid that Amanda Chase is going to win a convention. This is beyond the pale in insanity. And so what happens after the vote Saturday if they now vote for a primary? Do we have a third vote then? I mean, what if there's not enough vaccines and now you got to vote by mail? There's all this nonsense going on. This thing will never end. Walk us through the process Saturday. Number one, what time's the vote?
Sure. Well, the meeting will start at 10, and we usually start with, the opening things that we usually do, the prayer, the creed, and roll call, things like that. I think we'll start debate, probably 10:30 maybe-ish. How long the debate will go, I don't know. I mean, last time it was almost 4 to 5 hours before we ended up getting to the vote. So it's possible that while debate starts at 10:30, 10:45 or so, we might not vote until 2:30, 2:45, which, I'm a Ravens fan. I apologize to your audience, but I need to be preparing for my tailgate for Saturday night. So I want this vote to go quickly. But in all seriousness, I think that, it could go for a while. I think it's quite possible the debate will be long.
Well, if I knew you were a Ravens fan, I never would have had you on the air.
I had a feeling you might say that.
So, and plus, I'm still pissed that you guys danced on my logo.
Oh, and you're a Tennessee fan.
I'm a Titans fan. What's your whip count look like?
I don't know. I think it's a close decision. I mean, I think that it was very close when we voted for the convention vote itself. I mean, I think it was 42 to 30 something. I mean, it was close, and the original vote, on the motion, I guess it was a 4 or 5 vote margin, to get to that point. So, it requires 75%. to make the formal modifications to the party plan to allow us to have an unassembled convention. That's really kind of the hook that's allowed for this. I mean, ordinarily we wouldn't be able to consider this, but for the fact that we have to make a formal modification to the State Central Committee's party plan to have an unassembled convention in order to deal with the pandemic. And so, that has sort of been the hook whereby this debate has come back up. In order to do that amendment, we need, pass that amendment, we need a 75% vote. So I think it's close. I mean, I think it could go either way at this point.
Mike Ginsburg, thank you for being with us, member of the 11th Congressional District State Central Republican Party of Virginia. Mike, thank you.